Getting useless. I got a shanty for you guys. Rare treasures and riches vast from pirate legends in the past, shared voyages with faithful crew, called to sail the ocean blue. Lads, lassies, raise your mugs, drink, rarewares, sea of thieves.
Ching.
Matey.
I was supposed to talk about this with Alex, so he's here in spirit.
Yeah.
Wish I had an eye patch.
Wish you were
We
here.
we were gonna do the tag team thing where we both talk about the game kind of like you guys did for Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
So I'll just cover what I can. This was my first time playing it. It's on Game Pass. I think it's the perfect kind of platform for it. Not a game I would ever want to buy. In fact, it's loaded with microtransactions. But part of the beauty of it is like when you get Game Pass, you're getting Xbox Live Gold anyway, so you're basically, if you're getting the ultimate version, so you're playing games online. This is a game that actually takes good advantage of the online capabilities of Xbox Series S and One. We dicked around in it. I think that's pirate slang, dicking around.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
the ships.
they did a lot of dicking around, I think. Yeah.
That's not a lot of stuff to do on the ships and all. So, so we play with a couple of ships. We got a couple of quests. It's a game where you sail the big blue sea, although it's really not that big. It's smaller than Wind Waker, but it's got good looking water. It's kind of an open world sailing pirate game. We actually had some dude just appear from Xbox Live and just shoot us and send us to the netherworld. We had it's random, so like anybody could join your game technically at any time.
Mhm.
There's a variety of the quests that you can do. We mostly did plundering quests and bounty quests, and you get gold, and there's never really like a clear sense of purpose. There is a story mode, although like it did feel like maybe it wasn't like the most fleshed out point of the game. There's actually like a sail with Captain Jack Sparrow mode. I tried it out a little bit on my own. But I just couldn't figure out like where to go. The funny thing is and I kind of like this and I kind of don't. There are no directional compasses telling you go to this location. You kind of have to map out where you're supposed to go in terms of cartography. Like I have to look at a map, zoom out and find on my treasure map an identical looking island, mark a spot, and just because I mark that spot doesn't mean it even appears. So there is a kind of genuine exploration to it that I kind of like. There's some cool customization options. You can give your pirate, like you pick from like a cast of ugly looking swashbucklers and, whatever the female version of that is, if there is one, bucklers. But
I think it's a wench.
hesitant to use wench in a sentence. Males.
Yeah.
But you could give them like hair dye or like jackets and pirates hats. But then like there's the microtransaction thing. You can buy pets like through with like actual currency, and it's like, well, if I don't own this game, why am I going to do that? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I did play a little bit by myself today just to see what it was like. It's really hard navigating the ship because you're navigating a sailboat. You have to drop anchor. You need to drop the sail from the mast. There's really not much you need to do, but sometimes if you get hit at sea, let's say there's cannons or you do drop the anchor right away, like as you're pulling up to an island, you'll hit rocks or like when we were first starting off on the sailing, even the two of us, like just figuring everything out. Like one of us might be looking at the map and the other wasn't, and then suddenly we just crash into a freaking rock, and then like there'll be like holes in the bottom of the ship. One person's like, "Do you got wood? Oh, let's patch it up." And, like we didn't even know how to patch it up and stuff. There is kind of a thrill to it. It's like you do really fear for your life at sea. Something ironic. I played this after watching Titanic, and I felt like, oh my god, like I can't let the Titanic 2 happen in game. I know that earlier in this Game Talk episode that I was listening to you guys, or mostly Spencer, bash Sea of Thieves. I thought it was fun. I thought it was unique. Maybe the 20 minutes thing is true, but honestly, like I I don't need a sense of like purpose in this kind of game. Is it very Rareware-esque? No, I don't feel like I get the Rareware humor. I don't, but I do think it's a really interesting experience for the console it's on, and I appreciate getting to play it. And I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I I love what they were. I love the concept, and I I had a lot of fun for what I did in that game. Uh, I was able to play it with 4 people, which is probably peak how you're supposed to play it. It seems, and you get like the big ship, and you go on a voyage to wherever on a map, and you do the thing, and it was fun. And we got there, and then we found the treasure chest or whatever it was. I can't remember. And then we got back, and it's like, so what now? And they're like, well, there's no like, do we move the story forward? I mean, not really. There isn't really one, really. And like, all right, did we grow? Like, did I gain a stat? And it's like, no. Dude, I don't know. I just think I understand why there isn't progression. It makes sense, but for me, I feel like it's just without any sort of progression or any moving forward. That game doesn't make any sense to me, and we immediately got bored and switched to something else. But did you? So you don't find the need for progression in a game like that?
I almost think this is like, I don't know, is Sandbox the right term? It's more like toy box. Like I think this is just a toy box where you get to go on a ship and like dick around and see, like, honestly, I think the sailing in Wind Waker is a little bit more rewarding, but I do think it's like really well made for communicating. Like, yo, drop the mast, get on the crow's nest, look for stuff. Like me and Alex were really getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't need anything too intricate. I would agree that like the intro level quests are pretty fucking basic. Like go dig up a chest on the beach and like okay. But you can couple them up with like if you kill like a skeleton captain like while you're out there, you can like, take his skull and then bring it back and you do level up in some ways like for your different guilds that you're in. There's like a couple different factions you can build your progression in. I haven't seen how they fully develop, but I think a lot of that's because you have to get the basics for the game anyway. I did like just messing around in the game. At one point I hopped in the cannon and then Alex fired me from the cannon.
Yeah.
And we just got such a laugh out of that. I don't know. And then you can also like change like your which kind of weapon you use. You use like the pistol or the blunderbuss. They have a sniper. So I don't know. I like the concept. I would have to, and the disclaimer here is I played a couple hours. I've not really like dug that deep into Sea of Thieves. What I've experienced, it looks promising, but I could definitely see it running out of content.
You mentioned
See it running out of content.
SEA.
Sea of
You
Content.
mentioned there you got attacked and you took water and you had to get like boards to patch up. Do you have like do you have like a certain job? Like one person can man the sails and sail. Is that a way you could get more out of it? Like, okay, you do the sails, you do the cookery or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Alex and I were actually taking turns swapping like who's gonna be at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
Like spinning the thing and the other person be looking at the map. And sometimes we'd run over stuff anyway and then be like, okay, well, we'll both get down there. And the funny thing is like you have an inventory of stuff. You have like a banjo. You can play a banjo. I have a banjo. But they also have like a bucket. So like once the water starts filling the basement, you can just start, one person gets the bucket or you both kind of alternate and get like the water out of there. You could drop the anchor. The other person could like drop the anchor like while you're doing it. You could tell the person, you'll get ready. Okay, just tell me when I should stop. Tell me when I should drop. So there is a level of like important communication there that you can use. The holes in the ship, they always end up in the same place, or places, but it's still like something you have to deal with. So
it's a
yeah, you could definitely assign roles in the ways that work best for you and the people you're playing with. Is when you're playing it by yourself on like the small ship, it's just like such a burden, like doing everything. I couldn't perfect it, but
so that's with the single player.
Is a way to play it as a single player, but I don't think that's the best way to really experience it. I would really play this like with somebody else. Like I activated Game Pass just so we could play this. Say like I was like, my God, we have to play Sea of Thieves or anything. But if there's a game that justifies like the service, I think it would be. This is an example of one that does that.
What's the combat like? You said there's skeletons that show up. I'm assuming you fight the skeletons.
Swords and guns, and there's also cannons on your ship. So like if there's like, I didn't really have any combat at sea. The only time I got shot at was when I was playing by myself. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. But usually if you like land on like a little treasure island, there'll be like a bunch of skeletons and skeleton captains like attacking you, and so Some of them takes like it's usually like 2 hits with the sword. The captains take a bit more, even if you shoot like all 5 shots of your pistol and then hit them with your sword. It takes a while to get them down. But when you're playing with somebody else, it's a little easier. But that's only really my intro level combat. I haven't seen anything deeper. I haven't gone more than like 4 hours into the game. So, but even so, for 4 hours into the game and all I saw is skeletons, like that is something. But the experience is, I think the experience is really the sailing. I don't think it's the combat. The combat's just like an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a game where if you, sorry, this sounds like a game where if you were maybe 14 and you had a bunch of friends playing it together and you were really into like pirate stuff, I think you'd have a blast with this game.
Lower that. I'd say like 12.
12?
No, I think it looks like a Pixar-esque movie, or like the characters kind of have that like chunky fit, like look to it. I don't know. Or on the flip side, like I'm 30 and I like this game, so
I was just saying more
12 or 30, take your pick. Just don't combine them.
Like when I was playing, well, 30, 42. And so, I was
it's a
just
literal
saying,
combination, yes.
Yeah.
That's halfway to how old you are.
Oh, Jesus, man, I'm getting burned. Nice one. Nice one. As I cry into my pillow. It's fine. I'm old. Haha. But it's like
12.
It's like I was saying more towards like, well, sometimes I feel like I'm 12, but it's like when I was playing multiplayer, I was more 13 or 14 or 15, something like that. And I think if I had that as a kid, I think I would have got more out of it. Because I never played the game, but I think maybe if I had friends to play with it growing up, I think we would have had a blast with it. Maybe you need more people. Like you played with Alex and 3 other people, right? So you had 4 people.
I think 2's a sweet spot. I think 4 might be too many. I think just if you have 4, it's like, I don't know. I mean, you'd really have to be getting into some combat at sea. Like, I feel like you'd have to be taking down like enemy ships like on your side, and then you could have multiple people on the cannons, one on the map, one on the helm, like, and one on the crow's nest looking to see if there's stuff you could do. But I don't know that, and maybe Spencer could speak to this, if it delivers in a 4-person experience in the same way that like really did for 2-person.
Yeah, I think it's better with 4, but therein lies the problem is you got to have 4 people that want to sit for 4 hours and boat.
Did you feel your boating justified having 4 people, or would it have been like the same with 2?
No, 4 was like, it was good with 4 because kind of like what Brian was alluding to. But did you go on like the biggest boat, the huge one?
We started with that one, and then we worked our way down in the skiff.
Yeah, on the big one, it's nice to have somebody, like each person have their own job. When you go in there, one person's turning the wheel, one person's on the crow's nest. Some people are doing the masts, and then I think there's one more. But we usually had one of the people that we play with. All he does is fuck around. So that was basically what he was doing.
Can you throw that? Is there a jail where you can put the people who don't
they'll just kill you, and then anarchy.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I found that like at the helm, like I was able to do the mast and anchoring duties pretty easily. Although on the big ship, the anchor is in the middle of the boat and the wheels up top, so like there is the scrambling element. It's a little easier on the skiff.
Right.
What's the skiff? I don't know my sailing. What's a skiff?
So the skiff is the smallest one. It's like a 1 to 2 person boat. I may or may not be using the right word. The biggest boat is a 4-person boat, although you could use, I think, like 2 to 4. And then there's a mid-sized boat.
Okay, gotcha.
You pick it before you start your adventure anytime.
Well, Teddy, if you guys are down to keep playing, I will totally jump on with you guys.
Ha! Consider it accepted.
I'd do it, but
consider yourself invited.
Yes.
This is a game I'd like
to
consider
RPG Archives invitation.
It's often rare that you get an invitation with this much
Brian
explosion behind it.
I thought you were gonna
from cannons.
I thought you were gonna take a shot at me. I took a shot at you, now you take a shot back.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.